Today, I want to talk about something powerful, something that doesn't make noise, doesn't seek attention, and yet leaves the world in awe. Work hard in silence, shock them with your success. We live in a world where people often feel the need to broadcast every move, every goal, every step they take. But real growth, real success, doesn't need an audience. It needs focus, consistency, and a deep belief in your purpose. When you work in silence, you avoid distractions. You're not trying to impress anyone. You're trying to improve yourself. You become the storm that's brewing behind calm skies. And one day, when the results speak for themselves, you won't have to say a word. Your success will be the loudest thing in the room, so stop explaining your dreams, stop seeking validation, start doing the work, and when the moment comes, when your success stands tall and undeniable, those who doubted you won't know what hit them. Let your silence be strategy. Let your success be your story. 1. Silence builds focus in a world filled with constant noise, distractions, and the pressure to share every move on social media. Silence becomes a superpower. It creates a space where your mind can breathe, reflect, and concentrate without the influence of outside opinions. When you commit to working in silence, you choose to tune out the noise of the world and tune into your inner drive. You stop worrying about who's watching, who's doubting, or who's competing. Instead, you redirect that energy inward, toward improving, building, learning, and mastering your craft. Focus is fragile. It's easily broken by attention, seeking habits, endless comparisons, and the need for validation. When you operate in silence, you remove the need to announce your intentions, and that eliminates the pressure to prove anything prematurely. You're not distracted by applause or criticism. You don't get caught in the trap of performing for others instead of progressing for yourself. This silence creates a mental environment where deep work is possible, where ideas can grow, skills can sharpen, and results can take root. Think about the great minds of history: scientists, artists, athletes, entrepreneurs. The breakthroughs they achieved didn't happen in the spotlight. They happened in the quiet hours, behind the scenes, while the rest of the world wasn't watching. Their laser, like focus away from public distraction, allowed them to dig deeper, think clearer, and move faster. Silence doesn't mean weakness. It doesn't mean hiding. It means choosing to protect your goals while they're still in the making. It's the discipline to say, I don't need applause right now. I need progress. In that stillness, you build momentum. You learn faster, recover quicker, and develop stronger habits because your energy isn't being drained by external noise. True focus is rare today, and that makes it a competitive advantage. When others are talking, posting, and chasing attention, you're doing. And over time, that difference in attention becomes a massive difference in outcome. 2. Actions speak louder than words. Talking is easy. Anyone can talk about their dreams, goals, and ambitions, but the real difference, the thing that separates the dreamers from the achievers, is action. Because while words might grab attention for a moment, it's consistent action that builds legacies. People may forget what you said, but they will never forget what you did. When you act instead of talk, you're making a conscious decision to let your work speak for itself. You're not trying to impress anyone with promises or declarations. You're investing your time, effort, and energy into building something real, something that can be seen, measured, and respected. Action builds credibility. It shows the world that you're not just another person with a plan. You're someone with a purpose. Many people spend so much time explaining what they're going to do that they never get around to actually doing it. They post about their goals, talk endlessly about the grind, and constantly seek approval for simply having ideas. But none of that moves the needle. Progress is only made when you turn intention into execution. When you act, you make progress, even if no one is watching. Every quiet hour you invest, every failure you learn from, and every step you take adds up. While others are waiting for the perfect moment, you're building momentum. While they talk about what success will look like, you're quietly becoming successful, and over time, that action-based mindset compounds into results that can't be ignored. More importantly, actions generate proof. They leave behind a trail, evidence that you are someone who shows up, puts in the work, and delivers. This proof builds trust and respect, both from others and from yourself. You start to believe in your capabilities more because you're no longer relying on empty words. You have results to stand on. People might doubt your words, they might question your ideas, but they cannot deny results. Actions give you power that talking never will. You don't have to explain yourself or defend your plans. You simply do the work and let the outcome speak on your behalf, and that, more than any speech or statement, has the power to truly impress and inspire. 3. Surprise is a strategic advantage in any journey towards success. One of the most powerful moves you can make is to stay low while you grow. Remaining under the radar doesn't mean you're falling behind. It means you're building something strong enough to speak for itself when the time is right. When you work quietly and keep your plans private, you create the element of surprise. And in any competitive environment, surprise is a strategic advantage. Most people are so busy showcasing their progress that they unintentionally give away their strategies, goals, and intentions. They reveal their next move before it's ready, leaving themselves open to criticism, doubt, or even sabotage. But when you hold your vision close and work behind the scenes, no one sees you coming. That lack of visibility makes your progress unpredictable, and unpredictability is powerful. Surprise disrupts expectations. When people underestimate you, ignore you, or forget you, their guard drops. They assume you're not a threat, and that's exactly when you strike, with undeniable success, real achievement, and results that can't be ignored. By that point, it's too late for anyone to catch up, copy you, or stand in your way. This element of surprise also gives you freedom. You're not bound by the pressure of public opinion or the burden of trying to live up to promises you've made out loud. Instead, you have the space to experiment, fail, improve, and grow at your own pace. You can make mistakes without being judged, take risks without explanation, and build in a way that's authentic to you, not performative for others. Think of it like planting seeds underground. No one sees the roots forming, the growth taking shape, or the foundation being set. But one day, the results burst through the surface, and people are shocked at how quickly it seemed to happen. They didn't see the silent, disciplined work that came before, and that's what makes your success feel sudden, even though it wasn't. That's the beauty of surprise. It feels instant to them, but you know it was earned over time. Silence allows you to control the narrative by revealing only the outcome, not the process. You decide when to show your results, how to present your story, and who gets to see it. This control is a kind of power, quiet, strategic, and deeply effective. 4. Consistency is quiet, but powerful success is rarely about a single breakthrough moment. It's not about one grand gesture, one viral post, or one big opportunity. True success is the result of small, repeated actions performed with discipline over time. That's the power of consistency, and more often than not, consistency happens quietly. Consistency doesn't ask for attention. It doesn't demand recognition. It's the early mornings, the late nights, the repeated efforts when no one is watching. It's doing the work even when you're tired, unmotivated, or discouraged. While others look for shortcuts or chase overnight success, consistent individuals understand that progress is built day by day, brick by brick. And though it may not feel glamorous, it's the steady, determined work that creates unstoppable momentum. The quiet nature of consistency can be deceptive. Because it doesn't offer instant gratification, many people overlook it or give up too soon. They want results fast, and when they don't see immediate payoff, they quit. But consistency is about patience. It's about showing up over and over again, even when the rewards are delayed. It's about understanding that growth takes time and staying committed regardless. Behind every successful person is a long trail of invisible effort. It's the athlete who trains in silence for years before ever winning a medal. It's the entrepreneur who works countless hours before their business sees profit. It's the writer who rewrites drafts over and over before anyone reads a single sentence. From the outside, their success may seem sudden, but inside, it was built through quiet, consistent effort. What makes consistency so powerful is its compounding effect. Each day you put in the work, you're not just making a little progress. You're laying a stronger foundation for the next day. Over time, these small efforts add up to massive results. Think of it like drops of water filling a jar. One drop may seem insignificant, but if you keep going, the jar will eventually overflow. That overflow, the moment the world takes notice, is the result of every quiet drop that came before. Consistency also builds character. It teaches discipline, resilience, and perseverance. It proves to yourself that you're capable of committing to a goal, even when the motivation fades. And once you realize the strength of that discipline, it becomes a part of your identity. You become someone who finishes what they start, who doesn't give up, who endures. While the world celebrates flashy success, remember, the real power is in quiet repetition. It's in the process no one sees, the habits no one praises, and the efforts that don't go viral. Consistency may not be loud, but it is relentless, and in the end, it always wins. 5. Let success do the talking in a culture where people constantly feel the need to prove themselves with words, on social media, in conversations, or through endless self-promotion. Choosing to let your success speak for itself is both rare and powerful. There is a unique strength in remaining quiet while you build, and then allowing the outcome of your efforts to be the message. Because when success finally arrives, it says everything that needs to be said, louder and more convincingly than words ever could. When you achieve something meaningful, it becomes undeniable. People may question your motives, your methods, even your dreams, but they cannot argue with results. A finished product, a record of achievement, a moment of undeniable excellence. These things are self-evident. They don't need translation. They don't need explanation. They are the clearest, most effective response to anyone who ever doubted you. Letting success do the talking means trusting the process. It means resisting the urge to constantly explain yourself or convince others of your potential. It's about having the patience and confidence to keep your head down, knowing that when your time comes, your work will speak volumes on your behalf. You don't need to shout when you have something worth showing. There's a certain calmness and class in this approach. You don't have to argue with critics, compete for attention, or exaggerate your accomplishments. You simply deliver. That quiet confidence not only earns you more respect, but also sets you apart in a world where so many people are trying to talk their way to the top. Talking about what you're going to do builds expectation. Showing what you've already done builds reputation. In fact, the most impactful statements are often made without a single word. A championship trophy, a thriving business, a successful book, a life transformed. These things don't need a caption. They are evidence. They are the final word in any debate about your ability or your worth. They create silence in the room because they command respect without effort. More than just impressing others, letting your success talk is a powerful way to inspire. When people see what you've accomplished, not through self-promotion, but through real, tangible achievement, they're moved by it. It shifts their mindset. It shows them what's possible when you commit fully and let the results become your message. You show them that dreams aren't achieved by talking about them. They're achieved by working for them, relentlessly and quietly. And perhaps most importantly, when your success speaks, it does so with integrity. It wasn't built on hype. It wasn't built on trying to be seen. It was built on effort, discipline, and persistence. That authenticity is what makes it last. Words can be forgotten, dismissed, or challenged. But true success, earned and undeniable, becomes a legacy that speaks for you long after you've stopped talking. 6. Avoid energy leaks when you share your plans, goals, or ambitions too early or too often. You risk losing more than just your privacy. You risk leaking your energy. This concept may not be obvious at first, but it's critical for anyone striving for meaningful success. Every time you talk about what you're going to do before actually doing it, you release a bit of the drive that was meant to push you forward. The more you talk, the less you may act. Energy is a limited resource. Mental energy, emotional strength, and motivation are all essential to staying consistent, focused, and resilient in your journey. But when you use that energy to seek approval, explain your intentions, or constantly defend your dreams, you're diverting it away from where it truly belongs, into the work. Every conversation, every explanation, every effort to convince others chips away at the momentum you need to execute effectively. There's also a psychological phenomenon that comes into play here. When you share your goals, your brain can sometimes mistake that declaration for progress. Talking about your intentions can create a false sense of achievement, tricking you into feeling satisfied even though nothing has been accomplished yet. This can reduce your drive to follow through because you've already received a small dose of validation without doing the actual work. Moreover, premature exposure of your vision opens the door to unnecessary negativity. People may not understand your dreams. Some might criticize, question, or even mock them, not necessarily out of malice, but out of their own limitations or fears. And while their words might not stop you outright, they can plant seeds of doubt that grow slowly in your mind, undermining your belief in your path. This distraction, this emotional friction, is another leak. It pulls you out of alignment and forces you to expend energy defending yourself rather than building your future. By keeping your goals to yourself, you protect them. You create a sacred space where your ideas can grow without judgment, interruption, or interference. You keep your energy concentrated, your motivation pure, and your direction clear. You don't waste time crafting explanations or trying to convince others to believe in something they can't yet see. Instead, you stay in motion, pouring your energy directly into the work that matters. This doesn't mean you should isolate yourself completely or reject help from others. It means being selective. Share your vision with people who genuinely support you, who add fuel to your fire rather than draining it. Choose mentors, collaborators, and allies wisely, but guard your energy like it's your most precious asset, because it is. When you protect your energy and channel it deliberately into action, you move faster, think clearer, and grow stronger. You become immune to distractions that derail others, and you build momentum that no one can take from you. You stop explaining your dream and start living it. 7. Earn respect. Don't demand it. Respect is one of the most valuable currencies in life. But unlike fame, attention, or approval, it cannot be forced, demanded, or begged for. Real respect is earned through character, discipline, and results. It's not about telling people who you are. It's about showing them through consistent action over time. And when you choose to work hard in silence, you position yourself to earn that respect in the most authentic and lasting way. Many people spend energy trying to be seen, trying to be taken seriously before they've done the work. They feel entitled to recognition simply because they have ambition or potential, but potential means nothing without proof. No one owes you respect for dreaming big. They respect you when you turn those dreams into something real. Respect is not a gift, it's a response. It comes when people witness your commitment, see the results of your discipline, and understand the sacrifices you've made, not because you told them, but because your life reflects it. When you work in silence, you're not trying to impress anyone. You're focused on improving yourself, solving problems, learning, growing, and achieving, without needing validation along the way. That quiet grind builds something far more powerful than attention. It builds credibility. And credibility is what respect stands on. People notice those who consistently show up, do the work, and remain humble. There's an undeniable strength in someone who doesn't need to prove themselves with words, who doesn't chase attention or demand acknowledgement, but who lets their success and character do the talking. Over time, this approach becomes impossible to ignore. Those who once overlooked you begin to take notice. Those who doubted you begin to watch, and those who disrespected you, they often fall silent in the face of your results. But more important than earning the respect of others is earning the respect of yourself. When you commit to something and follow through, not just once, but repeatedly, you start building trust in your own abilities. You prove to yourself that you're reliable, resilient, and capable. That self-respect becomes the foundation for everything else. It shapes the way you carry yourself, the decisions you make, and the standard you hold yourself to. And the world reflects that back to you. Demanding respect often comes from insecurity. It comes from trying to convince others to believe in you when you haven't fully committed to believing in yourself. But when you focus inward on doing the work, on staying disciplined, on improving every day, you cultivate a quiet confidence, and from that confidence, true respect flows outward, without force, without begging, without noise. People respect those who deliver. People admire those who remain grounded and driven, regardless of recognition. And when you finally succeed, not only will the world see what you've built, They'll respect how you built it with integrity, consistency, and humility.